your LinkedIn and share the post with your team. Hey everyone, what's up? If you are seeing this, you're probably watching the playback episode, or you're just tuning in because no one ever does. Anyway, welcome to a LinkedIn Live AMA with Perry and I, where we will be talking about LinkedIn, HubSpot, and most importantly, marketing during a pandemic. It sounds a little scary. So Perry, what is going on? There's a pandemic. Everyone's freaking out. And how the hell do we actually manage these times?
I don't know. Isn't that why we're having this, so that we can ask the experts?
Yeah, so I think we should do that. So I'll get to work and I'll tell you guys a little bit here. Okay, so a little bit of what's going on right here as a marketing company, a lot of challenges that we're having. Actually, I can move this over because my camera's over there. I'm still learning all these technical stuff. And is that, okay, there's a pandemic. So this basically hasn't happened in our lifetimes. Not basically, it's true, right? We're an epidemic. We don't even know what we're doing. And we find a place that literally overnight, everything stopped. Unlike a recession or even a depression, these things happen slowly or even gradually. There was no gradual. Literally, yesterday there was an economy. Today there isn't an economy. Holy crap. How the hell did that happen? Well, we're actually having a conversation with an economist and trying to talk about civil liberties and an economy during a pandemic. But that's a conversation we'll have another time. But right now, you're trying to market. You're trying to get leads. Now, there's a lot of challenges and there's a lot of opportunities, right? So, Perry, what challenges and opportunities? Let's talk about what challenges. What are the losses? What are things? How are marketing budgets being adjusted? Let's talk negative first, and then we'll get into all the opportunities of the pandemic. So, what have you seen from you and your client side of basically the challenges in marketing and business in general during a pandemic?
So I think on the marketing side, as I've been talking to customers on a daily basis, to other experts, there's two buckets. There's the strategic questions. If I was planning a product launch, is this the right time for it? If I was doing major campaigns, events, what do I do? Budgeting, headcount, how do I lead people while they're in isolation? These are like strategic questions that are coming up, and we're trying to find answers to those types of things. And then there's the tactical questions, like how do I communicate? What should I be putting on LinkedIn? Should I be doing PPC? Should I be doing email nurture? Should I shut everything down? That's the two buckets of questions that we have, and I think those are the things maybe we could talk about, and maybe those are some of the questions that are going to be coming in on the LinkedIn through LinkedIn. But those are the broad marketing questions. Besides the how do you work from home in an environment that's, because I'm just gonna say one more thing about the work from home is there's a lot of top 10 things of how to work from home and a lot of advice, but those were relevant up to 2 weeks ago for people that were prepared to work from home. But now we're talking about hundreds of thousands of people that are working from home, never worked from home, are used to in-person contact, and they've got kids
into it, right? You have a bigger team, right? You have a much bigger team than we do. How do you suddenly transition to everyone working from home when you have a centralized office? And this is applicable for any team, any company, in any industry. You know what I mean? How do you suddenly do that, right? Tomorrow there's a pandemic, everyone work from home. We didn't have the systems in place, the software is in place to work remotely. I mean, let's talk about how does one adapt as a company? And then we'll talk about how that affects our marketing.
So for us, for us at Penguin, we have I would say about a quarter of our team was already working from home regularly. Our US team is fully remote. So the systems and the communication infrastructure was there to do it. So when we moved to remote work a couple of days before Israel, on the Israel side, before there was announcements that we had to. So we were better prepared and suited for that type of work, and kind of from a framework. But that doesn't negate the fact that most of the people that had to go work from home were not necessarily set up. Like I said before, it's not just they're going to work from home. Also, their kids are working from home, their wives are working from home, or their husbands are working from home. And there's a lot of other stress and stress levels because of what's going on. So those are things that need to be taken into account. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
been interesting.
it's a lot. Yeah, it's hard. I cut out for a second. If you lose me, I'll come back. Obviously, everyone's internet is absolute shit. But I know, by the way, if those that aren't following, YouTube and Netflix are cutting down their streaming and bandwidth. Scott Albert, CEO of Yom Chai Cannabis, says, "Good morning from Beersheba. What's up?" And hey, Yael, Yael Ayala on the Marketing Studios, good morning to you too. So guys, feel free to comment. We will engage. There may be a lag of like a minute and a half to your comments. The reason out to everyone, and you need to use a third-party platform in order to go live, unlike Facebook. We also should be live on Facebook, which I should probably go check out to see what comments are there. Okay, fantastic. So actually, my wife told me to show me this funny meme, this funny saying. She said, right, in 9 months from now, there's going to be a baby boom only for people that don't have kids yet. It took me a second to get it. I don't know. The thing is that, like, when you're stuck home with your kids, like, the last thing you want is more kids, right? But if you're stuck home and you don't have kids, you're very likely to end up in the pandemic. You're more likely to end up with a kid, 9 months from now. It would be really interesting to see the data on that in the future. It would be interesting to look back and see how behaviors change. I thought it was funny. All right, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about the challenges that we're personally having, right? So, I mean, probably like any other agency, we've lost clients, people cut back budgets, and the main reason isn't because of fear of digital marketing; it's the fear of uncertainty. So, a lot of Fortune 500, Fortune 5000 companies, what they're doing is that they're saying, "What the hell's going on? No new spending. In fact, cut all non-imperative spending." Immediately, because as they should, they want to make sure their employees are there when we grow out of this. The economy, and the American economy in particular, the Israeli economy has been very, very strong for a very long time. And what's hidden us economically has nothing to do with the economy. It has to do with the coronavirus, right, with the pandemic. So they understand that this is temporary and they're going to come out of it. But in order to come out of it, you got to temporarily cut costs. So we're seeing cuts in marketing budgets, and some people putting some things on pause for 6 weeks, which is fine and normal, and we're totally working with them and even giving them some free support in the time being. That being said, I am seeing some trends managing many accounts that I want to share so people can know, and that I would like you to share too. So, for example, if your demo requests have radically increased, right? So meaning no one now is saying, hey, I want us to speak to a salesperson, or I want a free trial, or I want a demo request, or I want to know exactly what's like. No one's ready for that now. They're saying, hold up. So we're seeing the conversion rates for those ads really go down. However, we are seeing engagement stay strong. People want to continue engagement. People are spending more time on their computers. They're probably spending more time on LinkedIn now than they were in their office, worried that maybe their employers thought maybe they're looking for new work on LinkedIn. There's a lot of taboo about LinkedIn that I actually want to get into later on about LinkedIn in the workforce. And there's so we're seeing a lot more people downloaded gated content than they were before. We're seeing better conversion rates, generally speaking, there. And with the feedback so far we're getting from 2 of our client sales teams is actually these downloaded contents, looking at these leads, they actually look more relevant and more lower funnel than they usually are when they download it. I think in general, during a pandemic, when you have a total freeze in spending, if you download anything and you give over your contact details in exchange, I think there's a little bit higher intent than otherwise. So I do think that there's a much higher intent for that content that they want to move forward otherwise. And they're documenting this and they're getting ready to, let's say, reach out to them when, let's say, we see the light at the end of the tunnel with this pandemic. So those are some things we're seeing. So in general, we've moved a lot of money away from demo requests over to other gated content and engagement and our cybersecurity influencer platform for our cybersecurity clients. So those are some things that we've seen. So stronger interest top of funnel and almost like wipe out of interest on very, very, very bottom funnel. What have you seen, right? I mean, you guys do more marketing automation. So obviously your data and what you've learned for your clients is obviously very different from what can you share that we can learn from?
So I think that's what you're saying is it feeds into a lot of the things that we're seeing, and we're advising to customers as well. Is on the one hand, like you said, we talked about, everybody's at home, they're busy, they've got their jobs and handling whatever jobs they have at home as well. They're not so open to, even if there is a need, they're not really in a place to sit in front of a salesperson, do a demo. So this is really where strategic content comes into place, like you said, top of funnel, but even more figuring out ways that we can give people the information they need to make purchasing decisions without actually having to talk to somebody. And that's really on marketing to help, to work closely with sales to figure out how they can do that through video, through, giving more value within the free trials. And you're seeing companies giving more context to the situation. So if we take the lead from the leaders like let's say HubSpot or Vidyard, you're seeing them provide in their free trials, or what they call their free stuff, there's more value in them so that people can get a better idea of how it works. Because usually you give a free version which is very limited so that people will buy. And now you're seeing companies say, okay, everybody's in trouble, cash flow is a problem, here's more value in our free stuff. Or you're getting a lot more. One of the things that HubSpot has done, for example, is they've opened up their limits. If you could only send a certain amount of emails based on where you were. Now they're saying you can send as many emails as you want for the next 60 days because we get that there's a need for this. So those are like, you can look at that in different verticals of how you can.
Have you used that? Have you guys used that? Have you been sending out more emails because you've had that opportunity?
Okay, so Yoel just went on silent. I'm not sure if it's just
wait, hold up. You having trouble? Can you hear me now?
Yes. So I heard you ask if we're using that, and the answer is absolutely yes.
Yeah.
We are using that, and I can see our customers using it. That because again, you're not able to call as much.
Can you be specific though? Can you be specific? How are you using it? Like what? So let's say you normally, I don't know, how many emails can you, let's say from HubSpot, how many emails can you, is it a HubSpot thing? How many emails can you send a month? Generally speaking, pre-pandemic, before the end of the world.
It was 10x your contact database. If you had 1,000 contact database that you were paying for, you could send out 10,000 emails. Which was logically, you shouldn't be sending more than 10 emails to each one of your contacts in a given month. I think today
I agree.
There's a reason you might have. We have more reasons to reach out to our audience in a more frequently. There's more information to disseminate. You want to put less information in each email because there's a lot of things to talk about. So that's one example. If you take Vidyard, for example, they're providing some really incredible video features into their packages so that people can, especially salespeople who maybe can't talk to people, but they can create little videos and send them out.
Right.
And do things so people can do things on their time. They may be busy in the morning educating their kids, but maybe have more time in the evening so that they can get back and read their emails or watch videos or do things like that. So there's you need to think about being more flexible, and the pushback I might get on that is that HubSpot and Vidyard, great, those are two examples, but I sell cybersecurity. How can I do something similar for my customers?
Exactly. So if they're doing HubSpot, under what circumstances would they do more than, let's say, the 10x? Would they contacts as possible? Under what circumstances, how would you go beyond your usual limitation? So basically, HubSpot's opening an opportunity up for you potentially. How would you utilize that opportunity to send more than you would? Or is it just, or what they're offering is just so much you're not going to use it anyway?
Look, I don't think we're going to go to 100x, but for example,
right. But are you going to 20x? Have you gone to 20x?
I think we will get to 15 or 20x potentially. I mean, Penguin specifically, we're putting out a lot of new programs specific for this time frame. One of the things that we're doing right now is a couple of weeks ago, as we just got into that, I figured nobody's ever been through a pandemic. Nobody knows how to market in a pandemic. In 2 weeks, we'll have, or 2 or 3 weeks from now, we'll have experts, because whoever's gone through the first 3 weeks and been doing things will be. So what I tried to do, and what we're trying to do right now, and we're putting on an event next week where we're bringing as many CMOs together, and some VCs have jumped on, and the GCMO have been very helpful to provide a bunch of people that have been doing this for 3 weeks, which is a lot of experience. It's the most amount of experience in the world that people have, running marketing and pandemic, to share what they've been doing, what they're seeing, and what they're planning on doing, in the next few weeks, as we go forward, so that some of us that are not as experienced as they are can learn a lot from them, and I think that's so that just on that event itself, there's a lot of emails going out besides other things that we're doing to try to help our customers or potential or prospects out there that might not be able to afford something right now, but we can give them information to help them in the meantime.
Yeah. Do you think? I'm wondering. There's got to be someone out there that I would think LinkedIn job title is going to be like pandemic marketing expert. I just think of like people like they write like something expert, and and you're like, clearly not an expert, but they say it doesn't take much to be an expert. You can read one book on any topic, and you know more than 99% of the general public, which is an interesting observation. We have some comments and questions. Shelley from Gensel says, great to see great group of people. Blair asked about connectivity issues, which Hannah said was, and everyone says it's now fine. Shura Rosenberg, she said, loves that we're doing through video. Yam Regev, the founder of Zest, said, super session by two super professional gentlemen. Why, thank you. You're a gentleman too. I love what he's doing. He's doing great things. A lot of good points. And Todd says, yay. And he's tagging and sharing. Yeshua Oz, a marketing PR expert, says that he's a certified pandemic marketing guru ninja. He used all of those words. Forget the word specialist. I think that's the new one now. I used to have LinkedIn ads. I mean, after expert was overdone, and then I think special was overdone, I changed my LinkedIn profile thing to obsessed. LinkedIn ads obsessed. And then I don't know if that's over the top. We got a question on Facebook from Joseph Goldsmith. He asked, do you think companies' work from home policies will change after this pandemic? I have strong opinions on this. I'll go first. So I am a big believer that you can work remotely, but it's not that any organization can work remotely. However, very few people have the tools, the work ethic, and the discipline and the experience to know how to work remotely. That's generally how I feel. I used to not be able to work remotely. I mean, now I know I can. So I mean, we the day after the elections on March 3rd, a junior. I mean, and we, so he had no experience. He's awesome. His name's Omri Hurwitz. And I mean, so I'm actually having to train him remotely. He had like a few days in office. You start on a Tuesday, and then that next Sunday morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days in office, I drove over and dropped the things off at his house in Caesarea, all of his equipment, and I've been doing training remotely. And I have to say, it's very difficult, but he's very good at being able to work remotely. I think very few people can. I think very few people have the discipline. I also think there is a trust issue in general, which we need to extend that trust. But we need to, as Reagan would say, trust and verify, right? Which is why we're using tools like Monday.com and things like that. So you have to trust your team to do things. You have to expect the same amount of productivity, and to an extent. I mean, maybe, at least if someone says they'll do something, they'll do it, and you need to double check their work to make sure it was actually done. As opposed to if they're right next to you, it might be more likely that you wouldn't double check the work. Yeah, I don't know. It's just different. I don't know. Do I think there's going to be, back to Joe's question, is there going to be a permanent thing? Yeah. I mean, we're now hiring a senior SEO. We're interviewing someone today, and she'll be working remotely from Tel Aviv. That was something that we didn't consider until now. In our SEO team, all of our teams are 100% remote. That's something we're opening up more and more to, and we're considering, at least our SEO department's considering. So it's funny. So we, and now as an agency, has permanently opened up more to remote work locally in Israel, not outside of Israel. It opens a talent pool. Do you think there will be any permanent changes regarding remote work?
So I'll say two things. First thing is, I think it's too early to predict. People are quickly saying the world is going to change forever after this, and maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. They're probably right in some ways. As being someone who's personally been through, let's call it a number of other world crises, The first one probably being the Gulf War, and then really 9/11. Anybody who was working during 9/11 and went through that, and then the .com was very close to that as well. A lot of things were being said similar. That the world will not be the same. Yes, it is not the same. We all have to go through all those hoops at the airport, but our jobs fundamentally didn't change. The economy did come back faster or slower than people predicted. Then we had the 2008 financial crisis. So that's one thing. I think we need to figure out how to get through this, and nobody knows how long this is, and that's really what we should be focusing on rather than trying to make predictions on after. Although there is some things that we can do to prepare for the day after. And to your point on the work from home, actually I disagree with you. I think that more people than they think are capable from working from home. And I was on your thought like you did. Go back a couple of years, but working with our U.S. team, and we've hired some, straight out of college people that you would expect would have a hard time working from home, and there's and some more senior people that have never worked from home before, and we've seen some incredible things. And I think with technology today, you can really be productive, and the technology takes care of a lot of the keep an eye on what's going on and make sure that people are doing the job they need to get done. And there's just a lot. It fundamentally the trust you need to have it, and that you either have it or you don't. And finally, to your point about that, I'm glad you figured this out, because I'm figuring it out as well slowly. Is that the talent pool that you can, if you just hire local, is really small, and there are a lot of really great people all over the country, if not all over the world, that could add super value to your company. And now you might be opening your eyes and say, like you are right now, and saying, wow, I shouldn't discount those people just because they can't come into the office every day.
Right. And I also think a lot of people want to come into an office. A lot of people want a social life at work. A lot of people, as humans, man, we have a lot of needs, and we need to get like our fix. We need to get our social fix, maybe like the exercise of walking to work, the socializing, maybe going out to lunch sometimes, of networking, of being the opportunity to meet new people. You know what I mean? Like these are imperative social needs, which is why I don't think there's going to be, I think there will be some shift, because some people that will adapt, like we are, might stick to more of a remote routine and be open to it. And I think some other people might not be, I think it depends. I mean, I think some will adapt, some won't. But I think overwhelmingly a lot of people will go back. Like you said, 9/11, but I think there's different, because 9/11 was, let's say, a huge recession, and it was like impact and hit. We didn't know what was going on. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, I think habits will change, because like, I think for months on end, if your hygiene habits of washing your hands with soap for like 20 seconds, like several times a day, not just when after you go to the bathroom, let's say, I mean, like that's a habit that I think will be with us. I also think like Disney World. Right. I'm just saying, right? And I used to be one of those people like, dude, you shouldn't use too much Purell because it's good for your immune system to get a little bit. And even I still think that's true, but you don't want to carry, even if you don't want to carry a coronavirus, because I don't want to kill my neighbors. More than anything, I'm worried about myself, let's say. For sure. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I would, some of the questions, I don't know if that I got on a couple of my LinkedIn posts, and it wasn't specifically for either this this LinkedIn Live or for the event. It's kind of what I talked about in the introduction. What is your what do you think about going, if we're about to do a product launch? This is something that's more strategic. Like we were about to launch a new product. What is this the right time to do it? Should we wait with it? Should we push it off? Those are some of the questions like that I've been seeing people get.
Oh, okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. But first, I want to. A lot of people commented here that I want to just go over, and Yehuda is definitely the funny thing. Yotam Gutman of Cyber Pros, great guy. Two marketers talk about marketing on a marketing platform. The universe starts collapsing in 3, 2, 1. I think the universe already started collapsing, if I'm not mistaken. Shelly asks, what do you think? I think we need to find a way to change content when there's such a torrent of content in our faces, need to grab people with something really small, short, and visual, and keep it sending repeatedly because all our feeds are overloaded all day long. Oh, I like this question. Good question, Shelly. It's interesting, right? So do you think we should be sending smaller pieces of content that are shorter because people are probably doing a lot more scrolling? Maybe we're spending more time on the internet. We're fighting for more time. What are your thoughts?
I think that's context relevant, right? I mean, if you're posting on LinkedIn, you know, you want to keep it to relevant to the format, right? Which is people are scrolling
Short.
and short.
That's all social media, right?
But people that are in there are still people that. Okay, sorry, but there are still people that are in the buying cycle, right? There are goods that are needed. The people are looking into certain things that they may have slowed it down or stopped it for a little bit, but that will have to come back, even if this, especially if this keeps on going. Some of those requirements are going to be needed. Whether it's this, I know you're big on cyber, so if I still will need to protect my information, my IT, cyber, bugs, whatever, viruses, and all the rest. So you will still need to be providing longer form content to answer those questions. So the answering questions that customers have that's going to need to change. Like I said earlier, you'll need to be answering them in much fuller context than saying, no, I'll wait till they call the sales guy and he'll answer it. But that I think that needs to be thinking. I think that's a general good idea, and that's the way the world is going anyway. So it'll accelerate that process, that people do more self-selection and things like that.
So, Shelly, I think the answer in general is yes. I know you put out some really good short videos. I think short to the point. That's what my posts try to be, easily readable. I mean, LinkedIn's, I think, 2,000 character limit on a post has been helpful for me to make sure to keep things to the point. I mean, I have notes and notes of anything I think of I want to post. I got rows of content ready to go, basically. So I know keeping it to the point and direct is good. Keeping it short is good. I think maybe now, because people aren't at offices, that video might do better because you have to keep things on mute. So, which is why they said the importance of transcribing. A lot of people will watch videos on mute and they want to see the transcription because either they're in their office bathroom or they're in their office or on the train and they don't want people to see it. But now that you're working from home, you don't care. You don't need it on mute. You can listen, you know what I mean, while watching videos. Let's say even, on the bathroom, you don't have that commute. You don't have to worry about bothering your having to transcribe videos has lost its importance. And I do think, therefore, we might have an opportunity here for videos for those that didn't want to transcribe, knowing that it's necessary. Those are my thoughts. I do think keeping it short in general, yes, I think, but short and ongoing, like you said, Shelly, more and more and more, as much content as you possibly can. Roy Naar, who is awesome. Yoel plus Perry, what an interesting combo. Thank you. Joseph said, good answers and insights. Sarah Manning asked, when people get sick of talking about Corona, what will they talk or hear about? What do they want to? I'm going to answer this one. Now I'm going to start. How do you grow out of it? That's it. We're going to rebound. It's going to happen. It's going to be anywhere from 2 months to a year and a half. Let's say. I don't know. So, I mean, we're going to start to rebound. In 2 months, I think you'll start to see. We'll see that the worst is behind us. So it will start. And how can you grow out of it? But I think talking about Corona is absolutely misleading. You should talk about, so I mean, I very much subscribe to the growth mindset, which is why I don't consume news. I try my best not to. And I see opportunities all around me. I mean, you can pick up talent cheaper that's on the market now because they were laid off and they're paid off, or they were, work without pay or whatever they're doing now. There's a lot of talent on the market you couldn't get earlier. I mean, I'm taking cash in, I'm buying assets. I'm investing in digital assets because inflation is going to hit. Don't kid yourself. I mean, I think America passed a $2 trillion package. You can track another one. They will be printing money. All countries will be printing money. What your dollar, what your shekel is worth now will be worth much less next year. So if you have any money in the bank, now is the time to invest it. Whether employees, digital assets, I mean, now's the time. So, I mean, I don't think you should be waiting till the conversation sure after is what do you do now? I mean, you want to position yourself, really. The answer to your question is how do you position, and then I'll go deeper, is how do you position yourself coming out of this thing, right? But what you do need to do is, right, you want to do a website? Do it now, because guess what? In a year from now, there's going to be inflation. And if you're going to do your website in a year from now, it might cost you 25% more for the same services. So I mean that's my opinion. And also, I don't believe in holding money in the bank. I think you should always be reinvesting your money. What do you think, Perry?
I think those are absolute truths. I mean, like you said, it's when if you're not reading about Corona, you're reading about the economic effect of Corona, and that's exactly where it's going. And not only is what you said is right, and we are seeing a subset of the customers or the people out there, saying, okay, we're not doing additional spend, but we're going to try to leverage the spend we have a little further. And and like you said, there's the talent available. Vendors like ourselves are willing to go a little bit farther than we might have been willing to do 2 months ago, and you can get your dollar can be stretched a lot farther, and you can be doing an investment in like digital assets or other things. Let's keep the stock market out of this for now. But I mean, if you're talking about in marketing and sales, this is the time that you can really create that infrastructure, create that goodwill, and come out of this really strong. And I think that what we've seen over the last 2 weeks is a lot of panic, and now slowly some of the companies are starting to come around and say, okay, this is the new normal. Now what should we do? And it can't just all be about Corona. There are real other issues on the table that people are looking to read about to that point. So yes, you need to be empathetic about what's going on. But there's definitely there's no reason why you shouldn't be talking about your product and contextualizing it to the situation and trying to push it forward in that growth mindset.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, I want to bring something up that kind of later should have mentioned earlier. YouTube is a great opportunity. Everyone's on YouTube. YouTube, in my opinion, especially top level branding or very bottom level remarketing to get people to demo to stay on top of mind is your greatest opportunity, YouTube ads. See, like LinkedIn or Google, YouTube, Facebook, in the end of the day, it's an auction, right? There are people, there are posts, there are videos, there are websites that want to show your ads, and there's only so many people that are viewing them, and it's a supply and demand, and that's how it's priced. YouTube has an exorbitant amount of videos, and everyone wants to put ads on it because if I'm putting up videos, why not I make a few cents, right? We get it. So therefore, buying ads on YouTube, they have to be in video format on your YouTube channel, is so underpriced for attention right now. And so many more people are consuming YouTube, and so many more people are also making videos on YouTube. So you're getting more people viewing videos, right? And also getting more people making more videos where we can place our ads, keeping it cheap. So being on YouTube right now is I think is a must. It might be difficult to do. It could be it could be a simple video. You do it from home, do a little marketing, upload it to your YouTube page, and you set up some remarketing. If anyone, by the way, wants a free review on it, we're doing that now. We're doing that. Let me know. You got, by the way, an event coming up on April 1st. You were telling me about it before we went live. Something about all marketing also during uncertain times. Just think, can you tell me about it?
Yeah,
or not me. Tell our viewers.
So let me tell the viewers. So basically, we're.
And wait, I want to say one thing. I'm going to open. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm going to open the live on LinkedIn. I might cut out for a second. If I do, we'll be back within 1 minute. But you'll still be fine, just so you know, in case someone's just watching and nothing to worry about. Yeah. No problem. Tell us about your event.
So, like I said, when I started it 2-3 weeks ago, we just thought, okay, we can't do our usual meetup as planned. So maybe we create a small meetup online. And I reached out to HubSpot, and their CMO Kip Bodner was generous with his time and said he could come on and have a conversation online, and that's how it kind of started, and it's really snowballed, and we are now calling this is going to be an event to help companies. We're calling it Steering Marketing in Times of Uncertainty, and it's an event that's going to start at 3 p.m. Israel time and next Wednesday, and it's going to go on until 9 p.m. In the evening, so that we can catch some of the U.S. As well. The first session is going to be with some of the top VCs. We got John Medved coming on, Ronan from Viola and Ventures, and Tal from Stage One, and then afterwards we're going to talk to Kip and Tyler from Vidyard and HubSpot, and then some GCMO. We're going to have a GCMO panel with Ron Avrami from AppsFlyer, and I don't want to go into all the names, but Kaltura's jumping in with the platform, and we're going to be doing some really incredible stuff there. So I think that it's just an incredible learning opportunity for us to hear what some of the really smart people. I mean, we're smart, but I'm talking about the people that are on the front lines, going to share with us what they've been doing, what they because some of those questions that I mentioned before are they're dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. What do they do with marketing automation? Should they keep the drip campaign? Should they not keep the drip campaign? Like all these things.
So you're basically what we're doing here, and the reason what value we're bringing you here now is that Perry works with a lot of clients for marketing automation. Okay, a lot of technology clients. And I work with a lot for LinkedIn ads, Google ads, cybersecurity, and influencer marketing and SEO. So we have scores of information, and we can crowdsource information. So I know about YouTube. I know about demo requests are taking a big hit, but top of funnel isn't. These are information that we can provide. So it sounds like an event like this. You're also going to get a lot of information by a lot of different resources. We'll be able to pick up trends. So in both the LinkedIn and Facebook Live.
Exactly.
I want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wanted to.
No, I was gonna say,
when you're done, I want to reply to some comments.
No, I was just going to say that we want to look at, from the business perspective, like what should business leaders or managers be looking at, or CEOs and that sort. The CMOs, what should they be doing? And then then have a session on the whole work from home environment. And so there's really a lot there for everybody. We'll drop the link and people can take a look at the agenda. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it actually looks really interesting looking at it now. Ildiko Gimesi says, I agree with her. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Those who approach the pandemic from an angle of disaster shift to a mindset of opportunity. Opportunity is now all around. It's a matter of thinking and getting back to work. By the way, that's this is true. It goes back to what I was saying earlier. I'm a huge fan of Robert Kiyosaki, and he talks about you look around, and you should be able to learn to see everything you see, everything you complain about, everything you bitch about is actually business opportunity. And the same thing should be same as marketing. Marketing is business. Marketing, sales, business. They're all the same to me. Yeah, or they're overlap. But whenever you look around and you see any challenge is a marketing opportunity. That's it, right? If a client asks for, that's why I got into influencer marketing. 3 cybersecurity clients, a few years ago asked me about influencer marketing over the course of 3 months. And I'm like, oh, there isn't here. And I'm like, I didn't see that as them complaining or saying, which I was like, okay, I'll create it. It's just everything you see is an opportunity. People don't know, oh no, what do I do? The events are canceled. What do I do with my budget? Great. Let's see what we can do. More people are spending time online. Great. Let's market them online. More people are on YouTube and Netflix. Great. How can you leverage YouTube? Is much easier to do of you at home with your kids, even though they might be business related, because that's very relatable now. Right? Like a messy home, show someone, instead of working in the office with those really obnoxious stock photos that we all use. Maybe we can get stock photos of me working here with with someone cooking in the back and a half naked kid and a bunch of Legos on the floor. You know what I mean? I think that might be a little bit more realistic, right? So this is actually opportunity where we can actually relate with our end user. So I think there's an opportunity there. It says, I think people should work 4 days from home. Let's go back to the remote if they know how to be productive, and 1 day at the office or personal meetings, but most of them can be done remote from a place where they're most productive at. Yeah, but the question is, are they? Ayala wants to talk about life beyond Corona, probably like most people. Meyer Lowenstein says good stuff. Regards from New York. I hope you guys are safe over there in New York. Man, it's Anyway, I'm seeing opportunities all over, and you should too. Now's the time to go in. I am seeing dropping cost per clicks on Google. I'm also seeing LinkedIn. I think I'm seeing it. I can't say definitely. Less people are advertising on Google, so this is a great opportunity for you, for sure. There are new Google policies, guidelines that you can run ads with the words COVID. I posted about this yesterday. COVID, coronavirus, the word virus or whatever inside your ads, but you can write whatever you want on your landing pages. And it's a new policy that your ad, but you won't be getting any impressions. So when I reached out for a few clients, because we were trying to take advantage of how we can, cybersecurity companies can help them during this time when there's a huge spike in breaches and penetrations and cyber attacks. So we were trying to help companies do that. You can't put it in your ad messaging on Google. And usually if Google starts Facebook, we can actually make more relevant ads from there. I wonder if Bing will take a hit, because maybe people's Bing is actually, no one goes to Bing.com, but the Bing search engine is used through, it's owned by Microsoft, so is LinkedIn. It's like your default in MSN and your Office suite and all that, which a lot of businesses are using. I wonder maybe if they might move, if maybe they're now using Office less from their home computers, they don't have it installed, they need it on a new device. I wonder how that works, and maybe the default search engine of Bing, the Bing results when they search in their search bar will no longer be the case. I'm not sure, but I'm just trying to think here, see any value that we can be able to provide to people. All right. A few more things.
I'm going to interrupt.
Yeah, please.
I know it's you, Yoel.
Good, interrupt, man.
I got to get in there. Because
I'll try to speak slower.
Yeah, I can't keep up with the speed, but I'll do my best. But with regards to YouTube and where people are focusing their attention, and you really got to think about the environment, right? We went in Israel, and I think in the US are seeing the same thing. We went from 40,000 unemployed to 600,000 in a matter of 2 weeks, and so there's a lot of people that are looking to spend the time to upskill themselves, and so. And this is another thing I just remembered that I speaking to a couple of customers that we're seeing is that they're getting a lot of more hits on the more educational part of their websites. So if you're going to invest in some deep content now, you've got to think about ways that you can make it relevant to these 600,000 people. Of course, in your every industry is a different number that you can help. So let's apply it again to cybersecurity, because I know that's an area that you're big on, and then maybe you could tell your customers this. Is if you think about it now, there might be all these people at home, they want to upskill in the area of cybersecurity, cloud, IT, whatever it might be. I know HubSpot's has the most amount of hits on their online education part of their website than they've ever had in the history of their company, which is unprecedented, because all these people are at home. They need to learn.
Do you know to what pages? Did they tell you what pages? What pages on there? Like what specifically people are looking to learn? That would be really good insight.
The certifications. It's like it starts with the inbound certification.
And
then any of their general content of how to do this or how to do that, and then it goes to the videos, right? People are also consuming it because all of the education is partially video. They're not reading it; they're going through the video. So if you think about it that way, there's a lot that you can do that. And then if you're going to promote it in Google, in YouTube, retargeting and all the stuff that you're talking about, you have really relevant content to get them in. And who do you think they're going to come to when they get their jobs back, or when things go back to normal, when things start to they'll want to go to the people that help them out. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, right. So people gotta provide value. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. So I mean, I want to take your brain here, because you know some things that I don't, and you've a little more experience than I do at how. So I wanted to know, and I think this is applicable to everyone. I mean, how are you managing your team differently?
It's so just being real, and I posted this a week ago or so. I mean, we you mentioned before.
Yes, be real.
We've taken some serious hits from a business perspective. On the one side, some companies hit the panic button and canceled contracts altogether. Others are saying they're cutting budgets. Others are saying, we want to get the same amount of value that we're, the same amount of work that we're getting, but you need to get, we're going to pay you X% less. And so there's all of those things together are causing us to have to rethink what we can do. We've had to, readjust the team, and that's just a fancy way to say that we've had to cut budgets. And what we've done for the most part, and I've seen a lot of companies doing this, and now I really understand how hard it is to kind of try to make everybody feel the same amount of pain versus one or two people having to take the big hit, meaning cutting salaries across the top versus, putting
of course
people on leave without pay. So that's been what we've been trying to do for as much as we can. But it's really stressful because you've got all of the home environment you got to deal with. And meanwhile at work, there's as much, if not more work than there was before. So we're, that's a big adjustment.
It's a funny thing, right? You said some people out of panic cancel their contracts outright. I mean, that happened to us too. And I mean, I find myself more and more busy.
So yeah, I mean, So we're more busy because we're trying to generate more value and content as on a marketing
Exactly. We're
perspective
trying to give even
to
more
help our
value
customers.
now for the, we're not right.
And the other thing that I've
Right.
done is,
Right.
when we talked a few weeks ago, I think it was just a month ago, we were talking about how the company's set up, and I was explaining to you, that I've put management in place, and I don't really deal with customers that much anymore, and work on more in vision and strategy. I pulled all that out. So in the last 3 weeks, I've asked all my management team to actually take a step down and deal, kind of flattening the structure. And now I'm actually managing.
Yep.
I went from managing 4 to 5 people to managing 10 people, so that those managers can spend more time adding value to customers or doing actual work versus management. And so I've kind of taken that on back into myself, which has been interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, you made the right decision. I mean, I'm still extremely hands-on, and Avner, who heads up our SEO department, he's extremely hands-on, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't have to take as many pay cuts. If we weren't as hands-on, we'd probably have another 4 or 5 employees, and not pay cuts. We took pay cuts. I mean, cut talent from our team, or put them on leave. Thankfully, we didn't have to do that at all. But if we were to, let's say, if we weren't so actively involved in the accounts, given how many hours, how efficient we are to work, we needed 4 or 5 people doing the work for us, and then we might have had, 2 people might have been left down the cold. And and by the way, it keeps you sharp and knowing what's going on. And then when you actually do marketing strategy and the top level stuff, you actually know what's going on, because you're not just in the clouds, but you're also in the dirt. And by the way, this doesn't even go for an agency. So if you're a technology company, I mean, it's very important. Now's the time. You might have had to, salaries might have been cut. You might have had to let some people go temporarily. It's an opportunity for you to sharpen your saw, is to regain those skills, to understand what's going on in the nitty gritty on the ground. At the end of the day, if you just become, let's say, if you're more senior and you just manage people, and that's what you've been doing, and you haven't been, rolling up your sleeves and doing the dirt, like, you're actually not gaining more skills. You might be gaining more managerial skills, but you're actually getting more further and further away from the source. Or like in government, they call it, like, you become establishment, right? And you've actually become disconnected from what's actually going on the ground. There's a TV show, right, where like a CEO goes to pretends to be like an entry level employee. You know what I mean? To see what's actually going on and how people are treated. They're like I think it's called undercover CEO of like Fortune companies. Like, you need, like, now's your opportunity to actually go down and see and learn what's doing, and not just to sharpen your skills. Your company will be sharper. You'll understand your industry better. Great way for you to get a better holistic and very more specific specific needs of patient. This represents a fantastic learning opportunity. And if you're not using this learning opportunity, if you're blessed enough to still be employed, probably more responsibility might be placed on you. This is an opportunity for you to grow from. So make sure you're totally taking advantage of that opportunity. It's very few opportunities are presented like this.
And so first of all, I got to say that the team is just, I mean, I knew that I had a great team. I mean, I didn't need to be reminded of that, but it is incredible to see how great they are in this period of time. And back to your question of whether this was the right decision or not, or if to go deeper into the details, or to do a little bit more micromanagement. It's right for this time period, because it's like you said, if I didn't do that, then I might have to release more people, or I have to. It's just what it's important as we get to the other side of it. That you have to strike I have to strike a better balance, because otherwise you get into scalability issues. If I have to be involved, or if you have to be involved with every single account, eventually something's going to give. So that's that's where it is. But that's really, like you said, it has been an opportunity. We've actually had to pull some people up, meaning giving them more responsibility, leadership, untested.
Oh, wow. Can you give me an example?
So
can you talk about that a bit? Like who's been pulled? Not who. What's been pulled up into what positions? Why? What happened? What changed at the top that, let's say, they had to step up, or did something change in the bottom? Let's say there was, can you explain to me how that works? I'm really interested.
So at at a at a at every given moment, I have to know as much information as I need to about, most importantly, the lifeblood of the company is cash flow. So if a customer is teetering or anything like that, it's important that I have an insight into that as quickly as possible. So what I did was I've taken a lot of the what's called account managers, right? The people that are managing specific accounts to make sure they're getting what they need, and we've kind of elevated them to what we call an account lead or an account owner, and so they're owning a certain amount of revenue, a certain amount of accounts, to make sure that they're and what they've been given is they've been given a team of people to work with them together to make sure that they are happy, getting everything they need, but also keeping a much closer finger on the pulse. And I'm meeting until actually 2 days ago. I was meeting with these leaders every single day to get an update. And we have like a kind of like you see in a war room with a green, yellow, blue. I'm sorry, green, yellow, red. Color coded so that we know where there are issues, where we need to start focusing more of our attention, my attention, resources, and those people, have kind of stepped up and really been incredible. We've seen some incredible saves where customers were just about to jump off, and they were able to pull them back, or customers were about to downgrade, and they were able to give them more value, and it's just been everybody on, when they say all hands on deck, and it's a great saying, it's really been like that, and it's incredible to kind of see that.
Okay, awesome. Question: how do you choose target audiences on YouTube?
I'll leave that one for you.
Ads good for brand awareness by choosing. Say it again.
I was going to leave that question for you.
Oh yeah. So I have to refresh to see the comments, just so people know. I mean, this is slow when the internet's slow, but because it's through third party, I have to refresh the live on LinkedIn to actually see the comments. Just so you know.
I'm not seeing that.
So right. So on YouTube, you get very targeting. On YouTube, I had a client, cybersecurity client, recently told me, I wish I can say it, what she wrote, but she said they had a prospect that already got a demo, and he was looking at other clients, looking at the things on YouTube, and it came up before, and he felt guilty. And they ended up moving forward with us because we saw that we were the right option. We, as our client, they were the right option because we showed them the right ads at the right time, what that he was considering, which, of course, was all decided, right? You might think these are coincidence what ads you're seeing when you're consuming the ads, but they're not. Jonathan Kahn asks, what is the coolest strategy you think companies take during the pandemic to retain customers? I can't answer that. I don't know what other people are doing. Usually people are pretty quiet. Can you answer that?
Yeah.
What's the coolest strategy you've seen companies take to retain customers? I thought it said customers. Okay, I misread that. I thought they said employees. Good. What do you think is a great way to retain customers?
First of all, this is really the place for customer success to be checking in on a regular basis with their customers, even if they don't reach out to you. I've seen a couple of companies do this, and I want to shout out to HiBob, which is an incredible HR platform. Proactively sent us a link to re-sign the contract. I actually saw it in my email. I'm like, what? I just signed up with them 3 months ago. They're already sending me another contract, and it in the contract was a 30% discount for the next 3 months. Didn't ask for it. Yep. Didn't complain, and boom, I signed it. I saved more money. So these types of things.
See that opportunity that they have, by the way, but they create a great opportunity for you in the long term. We've also, we're giving 30% off for the next 3 months for any new clients. So in our proposals, COVID-19 discount, we're also doing it. Because look, it's everyone's revenue's down. No one was, So and you want to retain employees, and even because we've taken on a new client. Sometimes that are recently that basically it's like it's a loss in the short term, but it's just to make sure we can retain our talent, because we're going to grow out of this very, very strong. But in order to do that, you need to have your talent engaged and on top of it and ready to bring back into the to be involved, as we're going to radically grow out of this thing. So yeah, it's I think discounts is a way. Also, by the way, adding more. We've been adding like more proactive consulting, marketing consulting beyond like our general services, which is generally included when asked. We provide that, but we've been asking providing a lot more strategy. Um, Miss Messi says offering a valuable service for free as appreciation. Some businesses are hit harder than others. Once your service has been experienced, and more users will likely come back to you during after the pandemic. I agree. Yeshua said, work from home tip for users on Microsoft Office. Many can install it on their personal computers for free. Okay, didn't know that. Thank you, Yeshua Oz. And then there's a lot of conversations going on that I'm not going to get into here. We're working on over at WA Digital. Our cybersecurity influencer platform is going really well. Now is the time to get engagement from influencer marketing. It's the only cybersecurity influencer platform in the world. So think if you share something for your company or your employees or from your company page, it's in a sense self-promotion, which is good. You should do it. But it's not the same as someone else sharing it. The same goes if you do ads, it's an ad. But nothing is like an organic person sharing it, right? So it's like a referral. Our cybersecurity influencer platform, we are having influencers and cybersecurity professionals actually share your things, and it comes off. It doesn't come off as an ad or that they're associated with your company, giving you tremendous reach, tremendous engagement, and obviously anyone that comes through and reads your content, though they'll be promoting, you can cookie and remarket to them on LinkedIn and Google. The value is astonishing, and it only starts at $450 a month. So it's a very easy way to get in and remarket. So if there are any cybersecurity companies. Another thing that we're doing is right now is a great opportunity to get your LinkedIn profile in shape. So we're doing, and we're actually created ads for this today about offering free LinkedIn profile reviews. So if your LinkedIn profile needs help, send me a message and we'll schedule 15 minutes. And I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do for your LinkedIn profile. We can schedule a follow-up also to make sure you're doing the things that you need. We are going to be scheduling we're going to be doing a master class. We're probably going to start it for free, maybe, how to fix your LinkedIn profile, but also, more importantly, how to build an audience on LinkedIn. So we're going to help you do that, particularly if you're a marketer, a founder, an entrepreneur in technology, you're on LinkedIn and you need to be using LinkedIn. How do you build that audience? We're going to help you build that audience. It's an intense 2-week master class every day where everyone checks in. We're finishing up that class. That's for the preparation. And then so if anyone wants to get in on that, just let me know, and we'll add you to our list. We're probably going to have a waiting list soon. Other than that, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. Probably before we do some house cleaning, is there anything else that you think you want to share regarding how people can take advantage of the pandemic? And before we do some house cleaning and a recap?
No, I think that's it. I mean, not everybody can necessarily give discounts, but you could give a little bit of extra attention and value. Like I mentioned before, education is really important. Another thing I noticed, is what Cultura is doing, where they're helping out teachers and the education department and doing webinars for them and helping them out. It's incredible to see what they're doing. And I'm sure there's lots of other examples, but those are great things that are not going to be forgotten quickly. And go ahead.
Yeah, Lisa Kaltor, I love her so much. She's great. And you have your event on April 1st, which you guys can scroll up and find in the comments on the LinkedIn Live and on the Facebook Live. And if anyone needs any kind of free consulting, let us know. And to recap, some things that we've discussed is HubSpot now says you can send unlimited emails out because they know you need to communicate. Maybe sending more but shorter emails might be better. Keep in mind, there's a lot more digital communication going on, which is why maybe shorter videos might be worthwhile. Maybe that extra time or money that you put into subtitles might be less relevant because people are at home and not at the office, so they can listen to things on the speakers of their phone. Demo requests, those cost per leads and conversion rates are not looking good for in the short term. However, top-level influencer marketing, gated content, engagement ads on LinkedIn in particular is up. Cost per clicks on Google are down. These are great opportunities. We're all going to grow out of this. We know we're growing out of it once we kind of rebound this thing's behind us. It's just a matter of time saying it. So be ready for the snapback, see the opportunities, try to retain as much talent as you can, and let's continue to provide value to one another. Let's continue to help each other. We're an ecosystem. We all here really want to help each other. So if you have any questions, you need some free consulting or help, you can reach out to me or you can reach out to Perry. We're more than there for you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Yoel.
All right. Thanks everyone for hanging out with us. Take care.